Hello and welcome to the Lausitz Ring in Germany, the German Grand Prix, round 13 of the FIM MX1 Motocross World Championship. Look at that temperature on the right side there. It was 29 when we arrived here this morning. It's now creeping up to the mid-30s. Not a lot of wind out on the racetrack either, so we've got a hot, humid track. It's very technical, it's physical. These guys are going to know that they've been through a Grand Prix this weekend in MX2 or MX1, and it's the MX1 guys who are up next for the first of two 35-minute plus 2-lap races. Well, this brand new venue on the calendar for the first time in 2013 on the infield of the Lausitz Ring European Speedway circuit that was built back in 2000. And we are technically on the inside of that 3.2-kilometer tri-oval circuit. A mixture of sand and sift material from the old slag heaps from the open cast mine that we sit on now. That was just about a kilometre away where the dirt has been shipped in, about 1,000 truckloads or so of soil, just to put this track together in a space of just 5 days, 1,500 metres long, and about a 1:42 lap time, something like that. But MX1, Tommy Searle took his first career pole position in the MX1 class in his rookie season on the CLS Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. But the question is, will he be able to turn it into a Grand Prix victory here today? Joining us for the first time, there's a quick look at the 1,500 metre long circuit here in a very small corner of this ginormous venue that normally seats around about 150, 160,000 people, something like that, for track days, car events. And it looks pretty cloudy out there. Don't be fooled, it is hot, it's muggy, it's sticky. And the riders are trying to take on as many fluids as possible. A lot of them riding or walking around in ice vests for as long as possible, just to keep their core body temperature down to a minimum before they go racing. Here's Amy.
We're back down here on the start line for MX1 Race 1. We're just taking some shade under the skybox. I'm joined by Tommy Searle. Tommy, fastest time in pre-qualifying yesterday and also took the qualifying race win. You said you charged really hard at the start and then had to maybe slow it down a little bit mid-race.
Yeah, yesterday I had a good race. It was hot out there, so I pushed at the beginning and then I eased it off a little bit to try and save a little bit of energy, but I still managed to get the win. But today's a whole different story and a new day, so hopefully I can get another good start and do the same.
Tommy, this has been another new track on the calendar that's prompted a lot of talk, but obviously the best people to obviously offer the opinion are you guys. What do you think? What do you think of it?
I always like it when we come to these tracks, like in the road race venue, and everything's clean and this time they built a really good track. You know, obviously the track's the main thing for us. That's what we race. So no matter what's around, at the end of the day, that's where we're going to work. So, but I think they've done a really good job here. It's enjoyable to ride.
Thanks, Tommy. That's all from us down here on the start line.
Right, in a moment, we're going to take a quick look behind the scenes. KTM Scott Racing.
In the beginning, like you told, we had two riders, one from Germany, one from Switzerland. Then during the first season, we picked up Even for the MX2. It starts that we help him a little bit because he had technical problems in the beginning. And now Even is 2.5 years with us. We are in the 3rd year now.
Yeah, they have learned me much, but I'm really happy with the bike, and the bike is very good. I hope I can get top 10 some races, so I'm happy that I can do that. The 11 in the first race in Uddevalla, that's the best moment this year.
This year, Nikolai Pashinsky is coming. He's from Ukraine. I know him many years, already from 80cc. I know his family. It's a very nice guy.
I'm riding from 5 years ago, or from 5 years. but last season was in MX3, but I was many injury and I not ride all year. I ride one time in last year in Bulgarian, but I'm crashed in the second race, and that was my injury in last year. And yeah, this year I'm start again in MX1. It was a little bit difficult, but I have two variants, or go again in MX3 or go MX1, and I think this will be better for me. Last year we was not in Lommel Motocross of Nationals because we have many problems with riders, and I hope we go this year in Germany, and I hope we qualify and all riders will be ready for race, and I hope we go in Motocross of Nations this year.
Yeah, and then the focus to pick up young riders, we go one step back and pick up a rider for a European Championship, Brent van Donning. He's not here this weekend because he dislocated, how you say, the hip. So, but it was not nothing damaged. So yeah, it was painful for 2-3 days, but yeah, nothing broken, nothing damaged. Uwe told me already he has the newest fan, so he's already on the bike and ready to race in Loket for sure. There is one thing, I'm happy when it's raining, because if I'm unhappy, it's also raining, you know? And this is a little bit, if you have a friendly face, yeah, you can talk to everybody, and I will keep this still to the end of my life, I hope.
The riders are down on the grid then. MX1 race 1 about to get underway, and in terms of what's been happening here this weekend, that guy there, number 100 on the right-hand side, as we look at it, the left going into what is going to be a 90-degree left-hander about 85 meters up the start straight. Tommy Searle has been on fire this weekend so far in the CLS Monster Energy Pro Circuit. Kawasaki was fastest in pre-qualifying practice on Saturday, and he turned that into a start-to-finish win in the qualifying race, as you can see, and that's how the riders will line up. Paul second, Cairoli third, who came from about 10th or 11th on the opening lap. DeSalle was fourth, Didika fifth, who faded in the heat in the closing stages, and then Max Nagel, who fell from third, or stalled in the corner, fell in the corner. He eventually came back to sixth. Strybos was seventh, Bobashev eighth, Roulance was ninth, and David Philippart's 10th. Right, I'm joined by a former Grand Prix rider, former third-place finisher in the FIM 250cc World Motocross Championship from not that long ago, 2001. The Ulsterman, Gordon Crockard. What about you, son?
Hi, how are you? Well,
good to see you here in the Grand Prix paddock again. I know it's been a while, but we had a 150 European Honda Series, a one-make series, the first round today. You're involved in that, aren't you? Tell us a little bit about it briefly.
yeah, that's right. We had the race this morning. It went really well. The kids rode fantastic, I think, on a track as challenging as this, and the situation with the heat and everything. But yeah, it went brilliant.
Well, good to see you here, Gordon. We've got the 5-second board going up right now, and the gate is about to drop, and not making a good start is AJ. But at the inside, Tommy Searle not getting the whole shot that he got yesterday. Instead, it's Tony Cairoli, is it? Towards the Rugon Salves. 9.99 on the Ice One Racing KTM. Gauthier Paulin in second. Tommy Searle looks like he's just swept through into third as he comes through the wave section. And David Philippart's right at the back there, number 19 on the Garibaldi Honda. But over the line they go for the first time. Gonçalves has fell to third place. So Paulin, Cairoli, Gonçalves as they head into turn 4 at the end of the straight. A very brutal, rough part of the racetrack over here. Running right on the inside of the oval, turn 1 on this tri-oval circuit, the Euro Speedway at the Lausitz Ring. There's DeSalle alongside Rui Gonçalves on the Rockstar Suzuki. But it's Gauthier Paulin who leads at the moment, the early stages, with Tony Cairoli behind him. There's DeSalle, Gonçalves fourth. Tommy Searle just ran the outside of Strybos to slot into fifth place. All the big hitters are there. That looks like it's Joel Roulon just behind Evgeny Bobrashev, the Honda World Motocross rider, and we're on board here with Kenda Dyker, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. Buried going through the first turn on this opening lap. Gordon Crockard, former Grand Prix racer, and of course third place finisher in a championship, race winner of course. Talking to you earlier this morning, the ground is pretty weird, isn't it? It's not sand, it's not hard packed, but it's, mind you said a little bit like Butts Creek in the nature of the ground.
Yeah, definitely, I would agree with that. It actually looks like Vulcan sward as well whenever it's you know, a little bit wet, but it's a lot of interesting lines and different things. I mean, I'd love to get a few laps around here to get a feel for it. I haven't had the chance to do that, but for the temperatures that we've got here, the fact that there's no dust or anything like that, and the track's so bumpy, I think it's brilliant.
Well, we're back here with our leaders. Gauthier Paulin, number 21. He needs to get some points on the board because in terms of the championship, he's 99 points down on the guy that's behind him, the six-time world champion, Tony Cairoli. And the form that he's been showing recently, Tony Cairoli, it'd be a very brave man to bet against him, taking title number 7 at the end of the season or even sooner. But down to the likes of Gauthier Paulin and Tommy Searle and in some ways, Lamont de South, just to try and steal as many points from him as much as possible. Gordon Crockard, when you look at the guys riding now in MX1, the speed is obviously a lot quicker, you know, with the 450s and that kind of thing. The tracks are physical. I mean, these guys are super fit. As Guarneri goes out, these guys are super fit, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. The science that's in the sport now is increased a lot more. There's been some riders in the past that have set some fantastic examples. You know, Stefan Everts, clearly, Ricky Carmichael. People talk about work ethic and all of these things. It's not so much anymore about just guys being fast on motorbikes. There's an awful lot more training and application goes into what they do.
And what have you made of the race weekend so far? I know you've been heavily involved in the 150 thing, so you've not seen too much, have you?
No, unfortunately, this first one has been really busy. We've had a lot of things to do and a lot of things to take care of, and I haven't just had the chance to enjoy the bikes. I'm not much of a spectator anyway. It's very strange for me being in the paddock and not actually being on the track racing. I keep thinking I should be walking around and checking lines or doing something and fiddling on the goggles, but none of that sort of stuff's been happening at the moment for me. So yeah, it's great now. Our races are finished at the moment today, and I've got a chance here to get a look at what these boys are doing.
Well, Clement de South, Rockstar Energy Suzuki, World MX1, trying to go after Tony Cairoli. He's been involved in his own little scuffles recently, namely with Tommy Searle. Tommy Searle a couple of positions behind him in 5th place, but I'm not sure how much Motocross World Championship action you're watching from back home in Northern Ireland, but you've been following it recently?
No, I haven't. Like I said, I'm not good at spectating. I get frustrated, and you know, I'm ignorant enough to sit and watch the race and then realise where I think I'd be finishing and stuff like that. So I just end up getting frustrated. But eventually, I'll give up and let it go, and I'll become a spectator like the majority of people in the sport.
But then I guess you've been walking around as well. You've been doing the track guide with the young kids this weekend.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's my main objective this weekend is to work with the kids and give them the best opportunity they can get out of this experience. You know, we've been studying the other riders here in MX1 and MX2 and trying to learn from what they're doing. They're the best riders in the world, so I mean, you would absolutely study everything that they do to try and learn from it.
Well, like I say, good to have you here. And obviously, the next round of the 150s, we look at a replay of the start. It was Rue Gonçalves who grabbed the Fina whole shot again by about a clear bike length over Gauthier Paulin, and one of the Suzuki's Strybos. So they're just coming into view around the outside. The 100, forcing DeSalle wide briefly, but DeSalle eventually won out in that little battle about a half a lap later. The next round for the 150s is going to be at Bastogne in Belgium in a couple of weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, something like that, on the 18th of August. Hoping to get a few more entries, I would think.
Yeah, the wild card situation is available. It's there.
DeSalle at the inside is found away past Cairoli. He won't mind too much about that though. Storms into second. Sorry to drop over the top of you.
Speaking of Cairoli, I'd actually like to see him in a 150. He's about the right size for it, so maybe have to negotiate a little bit with him.
And we'll have a 150 race with him and Hernings.
Maybe Carmichael, he's short as well.
Anybody else you want to get in there?
No, I should go easy on the short jokes. It's not right.
How's it working with Roger Hardley?
Roger? No.
Is he still in your phone as Roger Hardley, by the way?
I have to try and keep a job, so I better keep him up shut.
But the action so far, just to, you know, so far this year, certainly recently as well, Tommy Serler's really starting to come into his own, coming up from MX2, mixing it with the likes of Cairoli, Paulin and DeSalle. Could have done with a slightly better start, though. He's found a way past Ruy Gonçalves now, but he's 2 seconds down on Cairoli, who's just seen get passed here by Clement DeSalle. But no, disappearing out the front there is Gauthier Paulin, who's 4 seconds clear of this battle, and he set the fastest lap of the race as well on that last lap, the third lap, with 1:40.4, so about a half a second quicker than Clement DeSalle, who was there coming through traffic, and through Tony Cairoli as well. Kenny Dyke on a charge. It's a replay of a pass, so that puts him into 6th place, past the Russian, Evgeny Bobryshev. So Bobryshev and Max Nagel, his teammate, down in 11th place. He'll be looking for a little bit better result before the weekend's out. Evgeny Bobryshev, 777, the Russian on the Honda World Motocross machine. He is currently there in 7th place. He's got Kevin Strybos on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki, number 22. Behind him in 8th, then it's Monster Energy Yamaha Roulants and Jeremy Van Horbeek on the factory Kawasaki. Just behind him, I've got Gordon Crockard, former Grand Prix racer and podium finisher in the 2001 series alongside me. Not seen him around but in a few years, but he's heavily involved in the 150 Honda European Series that we had the race, the first round of earlier on in the day. Gordon Crockard, obviously you raced for Honda, you won races, you won GPs?
Yeah.
But you back obviously working with them after a couple of seasons racing, you know, national championship level for various different manufacturers. But how's it back being a part of the Honda family?
Well, it feels at home. I mean, all 3 of my British Championships came with riding for Honda, all of my Grand Prix wins came from riding for Honda. I'm a massive fan, always have been. All the Eagle bikes that were Hondas, my heroes, Thorpe, DeBoer, Mallard, Ricky Johnson, all Honda guys. So I'm very, very pleased to be back with them. I'm proud to be representing them with what I'm doing with the 150. So yeah, it's nice. I would much prefer to be a rider and racing in the Grand Prix series today, but you know that's not the case. These guys are doing well. I mean, Nagel and Bobryshev both have their own issues with their personal health and things at the moment, but I think with Nagel and his home GP and everything like that, there's a lot of pressure. There's not so many German riders that are at the front, so he's carrying the weight of his nation on his shoulders in a way.
Yeah. Well, you know, the track is quite physical and demanding circuit for him in terms of the technical nature of it. It's a very big area to fill, isn't it, this Lausitz ring? You know, we're in like one little corner of it. You can see just the grandstand there back in the background. That top tier seats about 40,000 alone. So it's always going to be a very difficult place to get some kind of atmosphere out of, isn't it?
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
In terms of home Grand Prix for Nagel, you know, where you go to Teufelstal, where we've got the Nations here, for instance, where everyone's hanging over the fence like we had in Majora and Fox Hills back in the day.
Yeah.
It's a completely different atmosphere. So just wondering how much of a home Grand Prix actually feels like for him.
Oh, well, I mean, you still have the pressure for the press and everything. For instance, I seen yesterday in the media centre, he had a lot of obligations, he had a lot of things to do, and it eats into all of your time and all of the things, you know, just takes away from his own concentration. So, you know, I think he definitely has some tasks that aren't so normal at other Grand Prix races. And this track as well, you know, he hasn't really got a home advantage whatsoever in terms of the track, because it's completely been built for this event. It's been no prior riding. I ride here on Monday and they were building the track, you know, so he doesn't know the place, he doesn't know the track, it's not familiar like somewhere else.
Yeah, Caro just going down behind his teammate Jonathan Barrigan. He was at 15th at that point. It's on the STR KTM, so he'll be frustrated. He'll want to pick himself up and try and get some points. Let's just recap what's been happening with just over 25 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Gauthier Paulin now 5 seconds clear of Clement DeSalle on the Suzuki. Tony Cairoli's 3rd. Tommy Searle 4th, Gonçalves 5th, Diker is in 6th, Bobryshev we just saw go through in 7th, Kevin Strybos has now just been overtaken by Roulant and drops to 9th, and Jeremy Van Horbeek, number 89, in the green Kawasaki ahead of Max Nagel. They are 10th and 11th. Milko Potazek, normally a 2B Yamaha rider, is picked from Monster Energy Yamaha, courtesy of Frossard, and who's that gone down? Oh, that's Kevin Woutz. So Kevin Woutz, the Belgian guy, the same place that got Davide Guarnieri, high side, yeah, and then just going down hard. Oh. Is it Paulin? Oh, race leader is out then. So he goes down hard. I just saw the quoting from the side. I just thought it was one of the wildcard riders. So Gauthier Paulin then is out, goes down hard, and it's Tony Cairoli who now moves up in second. Clement Dessau is leading, so yellow flag still being waved out there in the background. He just took off wrong, got it completely wrong. And Gauthier Paulin, Nagel is out as well, so he's trying to get that bike fired up. He was in 11th position a minute ago, and we've got Sean Simpson, Harry Brecker going around the outside of him as well, so a load of guys going through. And Nagel eventually gets going, so he's dropped down to around about, caught the rear wheel of Van Horby. Look at that, that's just unfortunate. Wrong place, wrong time. Gordon Crockard, you've been in one of those situations before, I'm sure, in the past.
And a lot of different places apart from motocross track as well. Yeah, you're right, you're right.
Simpson was did well just to avoid him there. I wonder if the yellow flags are still out over on this side of the racetrack. In a couple of corners' time, because that was Gauthier Paulin just getting it wrong just a moment ago. Yeah. We'll see in a moment. Yellow flags are in. So he's obviously not sure if he's definitely rejoined the race, but no, he's still being seen to there. Look, he looked like he landed pretty hard on the side there and on the side of the helmet. So that's only going to play into the hands of Tony Cairoli, who was already 99 points clear of Gauthier Paulin. Of course, Clement Dessau might profit on that, being just 9 points further back in third in the championship. But of course, Clement Dessau had a big crash of his own in Portugal when he came over the tabletop as he was setting the fastest laps of the race. But he managed to pick himself up and finish the race in third, so there was nothing lost there for him. But completely different when you're leading the race and your nearest, or the guy that you're chasing down in the championship is 2 positions further back and therefore 5 points further adrift. Every point counts when you're going for a championship. So I'm sure Gordon Crockard will vouch for that in a moment when we bring him back in. But Tommy Searle then, he drops into third place at the expense of Gauthier Paulin. Tommy Searle, 22 minutes plus 2 laps to go. He's got Tony Cairoli right in his sights, but will he be able to do anything about him? Will he go after second position? What kind of fitness levels has he got? Because he went out a little bit too hard and fast in the qualifying race yesterday, and after about 4 or 5 laps decided to back it off. Got reeled back in by Gauthier Paulin, Clement Dessau, Tony Cairoli, and then had to work extra hard just to keep those guys at bay to secure his first ever pole position. Gordon Crockard, obviously involved in the 150 Honda European Series, former Grand Prix race yourself, of course, but for someone like Tommy Searle coming in from MX2 in his rookie year, he started off the season happy to finish top 5, but he's had a taste of podiums now, hasn't he? Race finishes like third, where he got the points taken away from him in Sweden for jumping on a yellow flag, and he had that incident with Clement Dessau in Finland where he got shoulder barged and then eventually taken out of the race, which Clement Dessau got yellow carded for. But this part of the season, if he wants to impress and go after big prizes next year, this is where now, the second half of the season, a few races to go, he needs to start making it happen, doesn't he?
Yeah, you're completely correct there. I watched Tommy's race yesterday, the qualifying race, and he really impressed me. I thought that he did exceptionally well. I wasn't just sure how much these guys sandbag in that sort of situation. They seemed to do circulating in the top 4, and they were happy enough that was going to get them qualified and get them a good gate selection. But at the same time, I was looking at the track and I thought about Tommy and his recent years where he raced in America and the US Nationals, and with the humidity here and the temperature being high and the style of the track, I thought, this is something that he's actually been very used to before compared to some of the European riders. And I was hoping to see him make a good start today and learn from whatever he found yesterday in the race in terms of his physical condition and pacing himself, because I personally believe these guys don't go flat out from the gate dropping to the flag. Whenever it's physical like that, you do have to reserve yourself a little bit, and he'll find things out yesterday about his condition and about how he's actually going to cope with the longer race of the actual Grand Prix. So I am interested to see how things progress now, and he does have the dangling card of sitting in third place in this race, and Cairoli isn't too far up the road ahead of him.
And Cairoli just set his fastest lap of the race at 1:41.2 compared to 42.3, so he's taken another second out of Tommy Searle in that particular lap. But guess Kendall Dyke could have been looking out for him, but he faded after about 15 minutes or so yesterday in the qualifying race. So I don't expect to see him being a danger man to Tommy Searle in the close stage, unless, of course, Tommy Searle himself starts to fade and hit the wall. But for now, though, De Salle 5 seconds clear of Tony Cairoli, and Tommy Searle in third, about 8 seconds further back. But good return of form here for number 34, Monster Energy Yamaha, Joel Roulance. He is in 7th position, trying to close down this guy here, 777 of Evgeny Bobashev, who I think just went through a moment ago. But Roulance has had his fair share of injuries and headaches this year alone, so good to see him back there, circulating just outside the top 5, well inside the top 10, ahead of Kevin Stryber, Jeremy Van Horbig and Milko Potazek, who's now intent on the second of the Monster Energy Yamahas for the injured Stephen Frossard. Sean Simpson on the JK SKS Kevin Yamaha is 11th, Jonathan Barrigan STR KTM is 12th, David Philipparts Garibaldi Honda is in 13th place ahead of Heron Bracker, Kevin Woutz, Tano Leon, Max Nagel, Matis Caro, Batitas Puchas and August just down there in 20th position. We've lost our early race leader, Gauthier Borland. He crashed heavily coming back onto the start-finish straight, coming out of that final corner, and he is out of the race, and that has since handed the lead to Clement de Salle, Tony Cairoli second, and Tommy Searle in third. So what's on the agenda for you then, Gordon Crockard? Obviously the next couple of weeks getting these guys dialed in for the 150 series, and then we've got the Matterley Basin Festival of Motocross. That'll be a busy weekend for you, won't it? I don't think you went last year, did you?
No, last year I was racing a lot in Australia, but yeah, for sure this year I'll be at Matterley Basin. I think that after this weekend there's obviously going to be a lot of media opportunities now to show the rest of the motocross world what's available with the 150 series. The wild cards are sitting there, you know. If anybody's interested, they can apply. They apply through the website, and I think that alone.
What is the website?
It's the Honda150championship.com, and through that you can apply, and you know, you could be a wildcard rider at Belgium, at Bastogne, or at Great Britain for the Matterley Basin ride. So, you know, managing those things, making preparations, getting bikes ready, just literally doing all the logistics and administration for those things is what's ahead. We have big plans for this to be a three-year contract and 3-year series. So, you know, we're always working with Honda, we're working with Ustream, working with FIM, and making plans and arrangements, coming up with ideas. Those are the sort of things that will be going on between now and the next Grand Prix for us at Belgium.
Right, well, obviously we wish you all the best with the series, and just before I let you go back out and do what you need to do, talking to you this morning, Jason Wright is one of the members, son of Colin Wright and grandson of the late Alec Wright as well. So Roger Harvey joked this morning, yeah, we've been through 3 generations of the Wright families, the third one now knocking on the door, but good to have him around though. Seems like he's got a good bit of experience behind him, working with BMW over the past few years as well.
Yeah, of course. Racing's in his blood, you know. I'm sure he gets a lot of inspiration from his grandfather's achievements and his father's. So he's got a good head on his shoulders, and we just got to convert him now from tarmac racing to dirt racing. So
yeah, even though he's in the paddock here on tarmac, he still says it's pretty dirty. But Gordon Crockard, thanks for joining us. Clement de Salle continues to lead by 4.2 seconds. Cairoli second, Searle is third. We're looking at Clement de Salle, our race leader, Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MX1. That gap coming down to 3.8 seconds now. Thanks to Gordon Crockard for joining us up here in the commentary booth. Always good to see a familiar face and a friendly one at that as well. And the Ulsterman now will go and help pack the 150 machines back into the team truck and get the show on the road for Bastogne in 2 or 3 weeks' time. Tony Cairoli, though, what's he got left in the tank? 15 minutes plus 2 laps to go. He is, let's say, just under 4 seconds down on this guy, our race leader, Clement de Salle. Now, was that a nervous look, or was that just a reassuring look? Because we know that you are caught napping. Tony Cairoli will come back, he will punish you just when you least expect it. he'll feel that the pace is just starting to settle. He'll know that he can flick the switch and go even quicker, and in the blink of an eye, he can close down a couple of seconds and put the guy under pressure. That's what he's hoping to do to Commander Sal, but Sal will be hoping that he can just keep his head down, get on track, and pick up 25 points. But, of course, we're all concerned for Gauthier Paulin, the big crash that he had coming out of this corner over this jump on around about lap 4, something like that. But interesting to hear from the people that know. And hopefully he is okay. Right, here's Tommy Searle. He's in third. Tommy Searle sits in third place with 14 minutes plus 2 laps to go. He won the qualifying race yesterday, started the race from pole position. But Gauthier Paulin, who was the early race leader, he's the guy that's the first casualty of the race. He crashed coming out of the final corner in the early part of the race when he was 4 or 5 seconds clear of DeSalle and Cairoli, and he went down hard as well, and he has not rejoined the race. He had to seek medical attention initially after the crash, but hopefully he'll be okay. But I'm not even sure. It's maybe even too early to speculate whether Paulin will rejoin us in the second moto. He was 99 points down on Tony Cairoli in terms of the championship chase. You lose another 25 points to somebody that dominant. Well, maybe he will just look at that and say, right, maybe the championship is done. Maybe he's carrying an injury that will force him out of the weekend as well. And hopefully that won't be the case, but it was a pretty hard knock all the same. But Commander Sal was right there to pick up the pieces. He's there currently leading the race. Cairoli is second. Tommy Searle is in third, and we're getting ready to go down to pit lane to talk to somebody from Kawasaki right now.
Francois, we've obviously just seen Gauthier take that hard fall. Can you give us an update?
Yeah, Gauthier had a really big crash. He knocked out doctors taking care of him. He's not remember what he does, but what he did. But he's now conscious, and they are checking what's happened, what he has at the medical center.
At the moment, do we know if we'll see him for second race?
We don't know. Sorry.
Thank you, Francois.
Yeah, tough look there for Gauthier Paulin. Initially, we thought it was one of the wildcard riders, Kevin Woutz maybe, but just the unfamiliar clothing of Gauthier Paulin this weekend. But it turned out that it was Paulin upon the replay. But when you're knocked out and you don't remember, the medics down there will make sure that he is at least fit to ride. But it's not just that, it's he landed hard on the shoulder as well. And I wonder if there are any other implications there, any other bodily injuries from Gauthier Paulin that would keep him out of the race. That's, of course, if he doesn't have a headache at the very least. But be a tough guy if he is back out on the track. But we've seen these guys go big in the past, and pick themselves up. But when you're not able to, then that's a different story altogether. There's 61, Heron Bracker. He's in 14th position. Just found a 15th place. He's just found a way past Sean Simpson. There's Max Nagel. He's in 14th place. So it's all change on this particular lap. So we've got Commander Sal leading, Tony Cairoli second, Tommy Searle is in third. 10.5 seconds separate the first 3 guys. Ken Dyker, Rebel KTM is 4th. Rui Gonçalves, Ice One Racing KTM is in 5th. Evgeny Bobashev is 6th. Joel Roulant's Monster Energy Yamaha is 7th. Kevin Strybos, Rockstar Energy Suzuki is 8th, and Horbeek Factory Kawasaki is 9th, and Milko Podozek, Monster Energy Yamaha is in 10th. David Philippart on the Garibaldi Honda is 11th, ahead of Jonathan Barragan on the STR KTM, Sean Simpson, Max Nagel, Heron Bracker, Tano Leo, Kevin Woutz, Matis Caro, August Just, and Titas Buchas. They're your top 20 point scorers. And in fact, Buchas has just dropped to 21st because Dennis Ulrich has just slotted himself into the points. Max Nagel, who's had an up-and-down season despite his 8th place in the championship. Of course, he missed the tie round because of illness, and he wasn't well in Finland a couple of weeks ago, where he finished a couple of times 9th. He's had a couple of weeks to sort of recuperate, and here he is at his home Grand Prix at the Lausitz Ring, a brand new circuit about 60 kilometers from Dresden. And he made a mistake early on in the race, just like he did in the qualifying race. He fell from 3rd yesterday. Was hoping to put that mistake behind him, but fortunately for him, fell again, took a few kicks to get fired back into life. 777, Evgeny Bomarchev has been caught once again by 34, Joel Roulots on the Monster Energy Yamaha. So these guys are going to be fighting over 6th place. The guy in red and the guy in blue. Bobryshev on the red Honda here, currently in that 6th position. Just behind them, Kevin Strybus another couple of seconds further back, well, not even. And then the guy behind them, Mikola Pikczynski, the Scott Racing KTM rider, lap down and outside of the points. Former MX3 rider, but then he had a lot of time off last year through injury himself, so using his experience in MX1 just to get back to some kind of full fitness. But I just cannot you can't underestimate, I can't underline enough how brutal this circuit is. Brand new, built in 5.5 days. Obviously the mapping and all the rest of it was done back end of last year. There was talk of it at the Motocross of Nations last year, of course, and that's the reason why we're not at Teufelstal, is because we do have the FIA Monster Energy Motocross of Nations at the end of September, the 28th and 29th at Teufelstal. Of course, if you're interested in getting some tickets, go to the motocrossmx1.com website, click the ticketing tab, and choose whatever MXON package that you desire. Of course, there's the VIP package as well. Get access to the skybox, gifts and champagne, and overall we'll create an unforgettable weekend for you and your friends. Don't forget, on the live studio show as well, in about 45 minutes time, we've got Kenda Dyker and Steve Dixon and Petr Petrov. Get your questions in. Hashtag MXGP Live. Come on to Salvo. Oh, another rider down. Rui Gonçalves. That is at the end of the straight after the finish line into turn 4. So just goes to show how brutal this circuit is. You come through over that second floater, and he's gone down hard as well. And he looks like he's gone skidding down the tarmac a little bit. So a lot of guys biting the dust. A rider who's just come back from injury. Rui Gonçalves out of 5th place on the Ice One Racing KTM. Moments lost in concentration. Maybe that's all it was. DeSalle over the line now, 1:43.3. Gap between him and Tony Cairoli, 3.1 seconds. Cairoli 0.6 slower that time around. Rui Gonçalves just off to the right-hand side of the track there. The ruts on the jumps really is starting to get chewed up. Of course, we've got an hour to get the track fixed and prepped for MX2 Race 2. Because when this race finishes in around about 9-10 minutes time, with the time that's left on the clock, 6.5 minutes plus those 2 laps, around about 1:43 a lap at the moment. The guys will be out on the track fixing the faces of the jumps. Been a full schedule here so far. We had the 150 European race, 125 European race, straight into MX2 Race 1 and straight into MX1 Race 1. No time to fix, of course. Then we get the break. And that will be a bit of welcome relief, certainly on the jumps for these guys. They'll keep the majority of the bumps out on track, I'm sure, but just fix those that need fixing where necessary. But here's Evgeny Bobryshev, still being put under pressure. Doesn't like riding in the heat. Spoke to him last night as he was walking around the perimeter of the circuit, just out there on the asphalt with wife and baby. And he was just, tried to save energy yesterday. Not a big fan of the heat. And Roulots just losing the front end and almost going down right in front of 22. Kevin Strybos on the yellow Suzuki, the Rockstar Energy Suzuki, who's trying to work his way past his fellow Belgian. I guess the other thing to consider, as he goes up the inside, does he? Works it round the outside. Is he on the wrong side here, though? Tries to keep it in, absolutely wheel to wheel, side by side. Roulots still hanging in there, 34. Holding on to that 6th place. Down on the left-hand side, Roulots looking for a flat bit of racetrack as he carves up into turn 1, but Strybos comes across the back of him, looks to do the same again here, but then opts to go round the outside, gets the power down. It's a long way round there, but he gets the good momentum and doubles the second and third waves and finds a way past the Monster Energy Yamaha rider and now climbs up into 6th place. On lap 17 we've had now complete. So to Sal, 2.97 seconds down, clear of Tony Cairoli as we look again at the pass. Strybos, or the attempted pass initially, eventually went through, going through turn 2. Found a way past Bobashev as well. Look, so 2 riders in as many corners. So suddenly Kevin Strybos has pulled the pin and gone. First past Roulants, now past Bobashev, now sits in 5th place. That's the guy ahead of our onboard camera. Bobashev now in 6th place. We talk of next year having 30-minute plus 2 moto, 30-minute plus 2 lap races in the MXGP class as MX1 will be rebranded. Bobashev thought that was a welcome idea, welcome move, especially when it's hot, because he said even 5 minutes makes a big difference. And he's right, because if that were the case, this race would be over by now. And that was Strybos just going through, coming out of turn 4 through turn 5 over the series of jumps. There you go. It's better drive, better momentum, keeps him nice and low. Kevin Strybos in 5th place. Tony Cairoli taking another 10th out of Clement de Sal that time around, as his teammate Ken Dyker over the line now in 4th place, about 11 seconds down on Tommy Searle. He's going to be one of my guests on the MX Live TV studio show at 2:15. We'll start with Petr Petrov and Steve Dixon, the promoter and organizer of the MXGP festival at Matterley Basin on the 25th of August. So, got any questions for Petr Petrov or Ken Dyker? Hashtag MXGP Life. Be interested to see what you want to put to some of your favourite riders here. Strybos, what a good second half of the race he's had. Now finds himself in 5th, but 2.5 minutes to go. Come on to Sal. 2.8 clear of Cairoli. Searle 3rd, Dyker 4th. Strybos now in 5th. Just looking at the split times, section 1, section 2. Tony Cairoli going to be pulling in maybe a couple of tenths again on this lap as de Sal gets a little bit wayward. Coming over the finish line, it's again 2.7 seconds, so it's coming down. A tenth here, a couple of tenths there. Suddenly, with about 4 laps to go, Clement de Sal, he knows it's that time of the race, it's the Cairoli show. That's when he flicks the switch and decides to go after his prey. And one of his biggest rivals in Clement de Sal is the guy firmly fixed in the sights of Tony Cairoli. Just needs to get close enough for a sniff. Sometimes he doesn't even have to be that close, but he senses an opportunity. Can be ruthless at times, but doesn't take 6 world titles without that. Look at that. That's how far offline de Sal was as he came over the line just then to complete his 19th lap. Has he opened up a bit of a gap, though, over, well, no, that first sector again, 32.8, 32.4, 26.8, 27.8. So, yeah, he has. He's extended it by another second on that second sector alone. So, Cairoli may be making a mistake, just trying to push too hard. And that's the thing with this circuit. It's unforgiving. We've seen riders going down, fighting the dust hard. It's brutal. You have to ride the track with respect. You race it full gas for 40 minutes. Something's got to give. Bobashev. Roulants has found a way through. So Bobashev now in 7th. Roulants drops up into 6th just there. So the Honda rider just starting to feel the heat then maybe. As Jeremy Van Hoorbeek starting to close in as well in the background on the green Kawasaki. He's very close to sorting out his future for the next year or so, certainly. Spoke to him yesterday, and I think he's all but done a deal, but he's remaining tight-lipped. So until that's made public, as and whenever. But on a couple of riders' shopping lists, a couple of teams' shopping lists, I should say, is Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. no word on Clement de Sal yet in terms of whether he's definitely signed or not with Rockstar Energy Suzuki. Strybos rumoured to have done another deal with them. Cairoli and Dadaika, we know, are staying at KTM. Tommy Searle is definitely staying on Kawasaki and staying with CLS. Looks like it's just, you know, what material he's going to get in that team. Bobashev and Nagel, they're staying at Honda. Roulants, not sure if that was a 1 or 2 year deal. And we've got, that's not a good sight, is it? Looks like the air ambulance, possibly. I wonder if that's for Paul Ant. He was knocked out, if you remember. When he fell, he did regain consciousness but didn't know what had happened, so he's obviously had medical checks potentially. If it is him, of course, not sure. But we will give you news as soon as we get it. Might not be for him, of course, might be something else completely different, but Clement de Sal. 3.5 seconds or 3.2 seconds clear of Tony Cairoli. With 2 laps to go, Cairoli looking like he's settling now for 2nd position because he comes over the line, he's 7 seconds down. So it looked like he'd made a mistake, he'd lost that 1 second in that one sector. And he probably realised then that was just too much time to make up, taking his foot off the gas. We're still waiting for Tommy Searle to come over the line in 3rd any moment now. Be interesting to see what that gap is. Again, maybe Tommy Searle probably just thinking, save myself for the 2nd race. Tommy Searle over the line now, so 33 seconds down on Cairoli. And then we've got Dadaika just coming through here. Number 9, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. He goes through in 4th. Then it'll be Strybos, should be Roulants, Van Horbeek and Bobashev now in 8th. Philippart's 9th, Milko Podizek 10th. Here's Tommy Searle. CLS, Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Just getting a bit of a kick as he took off into turn 6. Tommy Searle, 6th in the championship, got a 3rd place finish in the 2nd moto in France. Was top 10 places when he finished 3rd in the 2nd race in Sweden to finish 13th. And was challenging de Sal for 2nd in the 2nd moto in Finland 2 weekends ago before unceremoniously being dumped out of the race down to 11th with a couple of laps to go. So not surprisingly, Tommy Searle just taking caution here. 3rd place in the bag at the moment. There's Milko Podizek, 132, riding the vacant Yamaha of Stephen Frossard this weekend. Normally riding for 2B Yamaha, of course. And Podizek doing pretty good at the moment in 10th. Here's our race leader, Clement de Sal, on his final lap already. 14 seconds clear now of Tony Cairoli, who's definitely backed off. And going to let the Belgian take the win here. Cairoli just coming into land now. Into turn 6, the other side of the Parts Europe banner. Here is Cairoli. And there's your race leader. Cruising around, he's got 3 corners to go. Maybe 4 or 5 corners actually, because he's out of the 140 left just here. That puts him through the final turn, back down the start straight, just after the camelback here. And Clement de Sal, as a result of Gauthier Paulin crashing just there in the background early on in the race whilst leading. 9 points behind at the start of the weekend. He will go clear with the 25-point victory here in Moto number 1. But of course, we're all concerned about Gauthier Paulin at the moment. But through the waves for the final time, the Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MX1 of Clement de Sal takes the checkered flag, and a big victory for him in Moto number 1. And you can see what it meant to him as well as he fist pumped the air. But he's going to be a very hot Belgian underneath that helmet. It's hot. It's 35 degrees out on track. And the recovery time He'll need to make the most of it. So too will Tony Cairoli. Gave himself a couple laps breathing space as well as he comes over the line on the Red Bull KTM. Yeah, it takes a long look over his shoulder there. He knows what's going on in the background. So Tommy Searle out of the first turn into turn 2. Take a look over his shoulder as well to see maybe where Kenda Dyker is so he can cruise. Tommy Searle will be on the podium for the second time in a moto in 2013 with 3rd place here in moto number 1 at the Lausitz Ring. Here's Kenda Dyker, Red Bull KTM. Just getting over the line, he comes through in 4th place. And then we wait for Strybos, he's over the line now. As we go on board with Bobashev. So he'll also be over the line any moment now. But a win for De Salle. Cairoli 2nd, Searle 3rd, De Dyker 4th, Strybos 5th, Roulant 6th. It's the moment. Come on, De Salle picked up 25 points for victory in moto number 1. Just looking down at the results unofficially. De Salle, Cairoli, Searle, your top 3. De Dyker, Strybos, Roulants. That's Philippart's getting into Bobashev. And that was what I was just about to mention. Philippart's a good recovery for him. He was down and out on the first lap through the waves, almost at the back of the pack, but to get through to 8th on the Garibaldi Honda. Found a way past Bobashev on the last lap, as you just saw there, carving his way down the inside of the Russian to nail down that 8th place. So officially then, Clément De Salle wins it by 24 seconds in the end from Tony Cairoli, Tommy Searle, Kenda Dyker, Kevin Strybos, Roulants, Van Hoorbeek, Philippart's good recovery, as we've said, Evgeny Bobashev and Milko Potasek. Jonathan Barrigan was 11th, Max Nagel 12th, Sean Simpson, Tano Leok, Heron Bracker, Mattis Caro, Kevin Woutz, August Just, Dennis Ulrich, and Clement Gertcher. The big news is 2 crashes. Rui Gonçalves out of 5th place when he went down. Gauthier Paulin crashed out of the lead. And we're still unsure as to his situation. Francois Lemarié initially said that he knocked himself out, was unconscious, but had regained consciousness, was down at the medical centre being treated and being further observed, but couldn't remember anything. Here was the crash. Back end came around, and then watch how hard he goes down. That's the impact, that's the knockout. And then he was just not sure where he was. Horrible crash, really. And later on in the race, of course, we saw the ambulance arrive. So Cairoli then stays on top, extends his lead. De Salle climbs to 2nd at the expense of Gauthier Paulin. Bobashev and Philippart's both climb positions. Guarnieri also crashed out and lost 2 places as a result. Well, we're getting ready to go down and speak to our race winner from MX1 Race 1. Of course, that was Clément De Salle on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MX1 machine. But it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say, because he inherited the lead after Gauthier Paulin crashed out. Here he is.
Clément, you were handed the race lead when Gauthier crashed, but you did a great job of maintaining it. Was it hard to keep up the pace out there?
Yeah, it was really hard to keep the same rhythm. I did my best, and the last 5 minutes was really hard, but I could keep almost the same rhythm and win this moto. And yeah, I will do my best in second one to try to win the GB.
Thanks, Clément.
Look what it meant to him as well. Big win for Clément De Salle then. Climbs back to 2nd in the championship chase. inherited the lead when Gauthier Paulin went out, but still had to stay there. Cairoli was never more than a few seconds away, and in the last 10 minutes or so, looked like he was getting ready to launch an attack, but a couple laps to go. Tony Cairoli seemed to have made a mistake, lost about a second in one of the split sectors, and possibly decided to throw in the towel. But he finished second. Here he is.
Tony, Clement passed you early in the race, but you didn't look too hard pushed to make it back for him. Were you trying to save some energy for the second race?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was struggling in the beginning with this hot a little bit with my asthma. I really couldn't breathe so good the first 15-20 minutes. He got by me and he passed me, and then Gauthier crashed, so I slowed down pretty much, and then I lose a little bit of the rhythm, and he takes some gap. Then I tried to come back, but the track is very bumpy and very sketchy, so I don't want to make crashes. I see a lot of crashes around the track, and Clement was pushing really hard, and he deserved this win. I have to say, he was riding very well, and for me it's okay. You know, second place. Next race, we're gonna try to win and bring back the GP. That's my goal for sure every time.
We'll see you, Nate, later on.
Second in moto number 2 then for Antonio Cairoli. The heat just getting the better of his asthma. But he'll try and get recovered for moto number 2. It's not going to be any cooler. If it is, it's only going to be by 1 or 2 degrees or something like that. So he'll do what he can. Go submerge himself in a little pool of water, as many of the riders and teams have been doing throughout the course of the weekend. But either way, he'll come out all guns blazing. Third in the race, the second podium of the year for Tommy Searle. Here he is.
Tommy, extending your good start to the weekend in moto number 1. Talk me through it.
I got an okay start. I missed the jump a little bit, and then I actually nearly passed everyone through the rollers on the first lap, but then Rui got a little out of shape and I had to brake, so I was around 6th place, but it was going well. I was riding nice, and then the end my pants started falling down a little bit, so in the turns I couldn't sit properly, so I decided to try and save a little energy, take third, and hopefully I can do a little bit better in this next one.
Third place for you in moto number 1.
Thank you.
I've seen him walking around the paddock. His jeans are hanging off his backside most of the time anyway. It shouldn't have been too much of a distraction. But obviously when you're trying to race and it's 35 degrees and you're having to maintain your concentration, the last thing you want is jeans falling around your ankles mid-flight. So, yeah, settled down, and that was it. Hung on to third place, so well placed at the moment to get a potential overall podium this weekend. Here's what happened. MX1, race 1. The gate dropped, and it was Paulin, but Rui Gonçalves swept around the outside on the Ice1 Racing KTM. But it wasn't long before Gauthier Paulin was up front. Cairoli was second, and Sal was third, and then made this pass to go second as Cairoli struggled to find his rhythm. And Paulin went out here, back-end pitch, as he rejoined the start straight, went down out of the lead, and that handed the advantage to 25 Clement de Sal on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki. Cairoli was second at that point. Tommy Searle then got into third. Rui Gonçalves was in 5th, but he also had a crash and then would crash out of the race. But battle for 6th place was down between 3 guys in the end, Roland, Strybos and Bobryshev, and eventually it was number 22, Strybos, who went through and eventually got back into 5th, actually. But checker flag fell, and it was a win for Clement de Sal. Tony Cairoli came home second. Tommy Searle came home in 3rd. Didika was 4th, Strybos was 5th. And that's all we've got time for MX1 here. Join us in about an hour's time for MX2 Race 2 and the conclusion of MX1 Race 2. Don't forget, live show in 15 minutes. Ken Didika, Petr Petrov on MX Live TV. See you then.